Saving America one entrepreneur at a time. It's the Biz Rap Podcast with your host, Michael Manahan.
It's Biz Rap Radio, the show that celebrates entrepreneurs and small business with your host, small businessman, educator, and author, Michael Manahan.
And welcome to another edition of Biz Rap Radio. It's your host, Michael Manahan. Thank you so much for joining me today. Wow, what a couple of weeks we have had. We have had an election. At least the Electoral College has said that Donald Trump is to be our new president. The popular vote, and a lot of people are upset about this, has said that Hillary Clinton is going to be our next president. I'm sure each of you has your own thoughts and ideas, but I want to pose a question to you because, this is the show all about entrepreneurs and small business. We're not a political show. We don't discuss all the political issues, but politics are important to small business people and entrepreneurs, and they're important for a couple of reasons. And one is, on the one hand, government restricts the ability of you to do business. Yes, you got to comply with rules and regulations. Some of them seem onerous. Some of them seem ridiculous. I was reading about a lady who wanted to start a yogurt shop. And I believe this, a yogurt shop, I don't know, 500-600 square feet yogurt shop in downtown Los Angeles. Took her almost 2 years to get permitted and to get that yogurt shop open. So on the one hand, government plays a huge role in hindering the growth of business, but at the same time, changes in government present entrepreneurial opportunities. Yes, so, regardless of whether you are a Trump supporter or a Hillary supporter or you didn't support either of them, if you're an entrepreneur and a small business person, what you need to be doing, in my opinion, is looking at what opportunities will be created for you to make money by the changes in policy that are going to occur under the new president. Yes, believe it or not, the changing of the guard represents an opportunity to make cash. There are going to be new rules, new policies, new programs, new concepts, and all of those are an opportunity for you as a small business person, as an entrepreneur, to go out there and basically use that change to your advantage and to create a new business or create a new service in your business or perhaps tackle a market that you couldn't have tackled previously. I mean, think of it. We are going to have changes, under the new regime, assuming Trump, the president-elect does get in. We're going to have changes in healthcare. What opportunities are there for somebody who's in the healthcare business to make more money? We're going to have changes in perhaps immigration. What opportunities are there for you to make money off of the immigration issue? We might even have changes in that, in international policy. So all of these represent big opportunities to make dollars. Donald Trump has talked about infrastructure. There's a huge opportunity for entrepreneurs to make money off of infrastructure. So if you're an entrepreneur, okay, look at the elections occurred. Maybe your person got in. Maybe your person didn't get in. Forget about that now. Now what you need to focus on is what is going to happen going forward that's going to create opportunities for you to either create a new business or expand your existing business and make money off of it. And don't forget, we not only have changes at the federal level, we have changes at the state level. Here in California, I can't remember, was it 97 ballots were on there were so many friggin' ballots on the, what would you call them, so many friggin' things you had to vote on in this past election. But every one of those is going to create new legislation that is going to create opportunities for entrepreneurs. So even if you voted against something and it passed, there's an opportunity for you. Jump in, see how you can use it to your advantage. And, speaking of opportunities, I've got, as always, I've got a fabulous show lined up, and I have a guest today on the show who has taken advantage of plenty of opportunities. She is a radio host herself, a TV show host. She's a speaker, an author. She is the author of Founder of an Empowered Woman, most recently producer and publisher of Let's Talk Success. I mean, just an amazing lady and entrepreneur, and I'm sure there's a ton we can learn from her. So without any more of me talking, Desiree, welcome to the show.
Good afternoon. How are you doing today? It's my pleasure.
I'm doing absolutely wonderful. I love to talk to other entrepreneurs. And you are really the kind of the classic entrepreneur. You've got your hands in so many different things. Tell me a little bit about what you do and how you got started.
Okay. I started business when I was 12 years old. I was an entrepreneur. I've always had my own business. I've never worked for anybody. So when I say it's a journey, I'm very, very familiar with it, not only as a woman, but as a minority and as a divorced mom of two, so I kind of run that gamut from having a dance school, dance and modeling school, and where we did fashion shows and taught women how to dance and act and model, to actually being in real estate for many years, buying and investing, and being able to do collaborations with other people as far as buying property and selling, flipping and selling, as well as when I was in real estate and I wanted more women to invest with me, and predominantly my clients were men. So I was talking to them, and a lot of them had things in their way. So I said, let me have a brunch in my home and invite them over and have a speaker that talks about getting out of your own way or finding the greatness in you. Just different speakers come, and then they would kind of feel more confident investing in real estate. Well, this happened about 8 months, and after a while, we were so full and so packed that we had no more room, so we had to take it to another facility. And then I said, well, I had to start charging it. If I had to start charging, I'll have to have a bank account. The bank account had to do a DBA, and we'll actually have to make it a business. And that's really how we got started. So we started An Empowered Woman over 10 years ago, where we support women in business, women that are starting, fixing, and building their businesses through our radio shows, our videos, our podcasts, our live events, seminars, webinars, masterminds, and so forth. And we would meet constantly, sometimes 8 to 12 times a month in different areas, Los Angeles, San Fernando Valley, Orange County, and San Diego. But then the market, we adjusted, and a lot of people really had to focus in on really making their businesses work, and not so much of the networking, but really working it. So we created a program called The Power 7, which was the 7 tools that we've used and what I have used over the years, even though the technology has changed, to be able to start and build your business. And that's by creating your own media program, like your own speaking opportunities, your own events, your own radio or TV show, whether it's a interview style or a talk show style or audience style, different styles, being able to write your own articles or ebooks or digital magazines, being able to get joint ventures, sponsors, affiliate income, being able to create more products and programs and services, and then being able to share it and promote it and work it through your social media. So it's called the content marketing, taking your content, your expertise, your genius, and being able to market it in multiple of mediums so that people can enroll wherever they are.
Well, that is
so I know that you're familiar with different types of mediums, how people enroll with NLP, so that being able to help them there.
Well, that is just amazing. Now, and I apologize. You packed so much information into a couple of minutes there. But what did you say? Was it the 7 secrets to success, or was it?
Okay. That sounds good. It is 7 secrets. No, the power of 7.
The power of 7.
The power of 7 tools. Yeah,
okay.
The power of 7 tools. The audio, the video, the written, the live, and the other ways. 7 tools to be able to build your business. And it's nowadays, Mike, it's not just locally. People can do it worldwide. And a lot of people still have that local mentality where the world is at their
Well, yeah, and we need to talk about that. There's actually a couple. There's so many things I want to talk to you about. But we are literally 1 minute away from commercial break, and if I ask you a question, you're probably going to talk for more than 1 minute. So I don't want to interrupt you right in the middle of you saying something so important. It is Mike Manahan, Biz Rap Radio. I am on the phone today with Desiree, my guest for the show, and we're going to be back right after these messages. And welcome back to Biz Rap Radio. It is your host, Michael Manahan, and thank you again for joining us today. Of course, Biz Rap Radio, the show all about small business and entrepreneurs. Today, I have with me Desiree. Desiree is a radio and TV show host, speaker, author. Very, very interesting lady, and we were just talking in the last segment about how you can promote your business through the use of okay, now here it's the 7. What is the 7 things again?
It's the power of 7.
Okay,
so basically, you can promote your business using 7 marketing tools, 7 mediums.
Okay, so let's say somebody's listening and they say, you know what, I need to do a better job of marketing my business. I want to learn more about these 7 tools. Is there some place that they could go and find out more about this where you've written about it, or how can they learn more?
Sure. They go to our website, which is An Empowered Woman, ANEMPOWEREDWOMAN.com. They can go to the Power of 7. And on that page, it'll break down all the 7 different modules. We have plenty of testimonials. We work a lot with professionals, like doctors or attorneys or architects or interior decorators. So those are people that have great style and great information, but they don't really traditionally communicate it out. Like how do they do a podcast on, or how do they do a video series on? So what I do is we work with the 12 most commonly asked questions, whether it's a realtor or, again, anyone, insurance agent. And people that are always asking, those are the things that people are Googling. And we also check that. We check the analytics to see that those are the keywords, what the keywords people are Googling with those questions. And then we create media around those questions with the questions and the answers. So that way, when they Google that, they find you. So, if someone, again, is an attorney, there's like 12 things you need to do to really structure or maintain a business to keep from problems from HR, say, for example. Then she will questions, answer, and you do it in a video because it has the #1 optimization. Then you do it in an audio format, whether it's a radio or podcast or whatever. And then you take that and transcribe it to a written script. And then you can take that and either have that be the theme or the topic of a live event, whether you do it in your offices, or whether you do it at Lunch and Learns, or whether you do it in collaboration with other experts on the subject. But just being able to hit those mediums, because as I started to say, the NLP, people are going to roll in different ways. Some people will roll by they hear it or see it or read it, or they can touch you. So you're satisfying those ways and get the meetings out there and expand, because if you have a meeting that will spread, people can share it through social media, they can share it through email. You can create, we create digital magazines, what you can actually click here for subscriptions or for free consultations or free samples or to purchase. So you actually find the mediums that, I cover all the mediums, so that way wherever a person is, and as much as they need to hear it, they'll be able to respond.
Well, that's great. And I think that's such a, I think you really hit the nail on the head. Quite frankly, a lot of small businesses really do not do a good job of marketing themselves. And I work as a consultant. I consult with a lot of small, successful businesses. They're making money, but the entrepreneurs always seem to want more. And the one area where I really see that a lot of them just do not do a good job is on the marketing side. They spend so much of their focus on taking care of customers and on product, making sure they're delivering the greatest and the best product or service. But they really are lost when it comes to actually marketing what they have. And as a consequence, they're not getting the traffic, the customers that they really should be getting. So, what you're talking about is fantastic. I want to change topics for just a moment. We'll maybe get back to some of this the power of seven and the various marketing streams that you can use to promote your business. But I want to talk a little bit about just entrepreneurship. And you mentioned that obviously you're a female. You also mentioned that you're a minority. And one of my big passions in life is to convince people that anybody can be an entrepreneur. And, I teach a class called Entrepreneurial Finance. I'm a professor at Cal State Dominguez Hills, in addition to being a radio show host and a consultant. And I know a lot.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's great, and I love it. And I notice a lot of my students, and I have it's Los Angeles, so it's an ethnically diverse crowd. But a lot of them are very interested in being entrepreneurs, but there's a hesitancy, there's a fear, and believe me, the fear is greater than the fear of Donald Trump, believe it or not. They fear that if they become entrepreneurs, they're somehow not going to succeed, they're going to fail, that it's how do you as a female and as a minority, were you ever afraid or worried about failure, or how did you manage that in your leap to become an entrepreneur?
Well, I think that, whether one would want to admit it or not, that every entrepreneur, every business person, no matter male, female, or undecided, is fearful of failing. That just kind of comes with the territory. But I think the thing with that fear, being able to override it by knowing more knowledge, more resources, having more knowledge, more resources, and more connections, that makes a difference. You have to, for one thing, the good news is that there are a lot of benefits, there's a lot of plans and programs designed for minorities to succeed. And one of them is being SBA. Actually, people really underestimate the value and the power of a small business association. But they have a lot of programs, not only for people that are just starting business, but even like the emerging leaders, they're businesses that are 6 figures and above, but they work with you from startup all the way through, and they have businesses that are $1 million businesses to consult with and have a lot of programs. So really being able to take that time, I didn't utilize all the things that was available to me, to my deficit, because I think that I would have been able to benefit from it. But a lot of us just jump into the business of being in business, and there's so many things that you need to do on a day-to-day basis. We don't take that time. So I would want to encourage everyone to take the time to not only research the resources that are available for the minorities. There's a lot of programs that offer it, and there's a lot of funding and a lot of people that are willing to support as far as investors and investor programs, and then take advantage of it. Once they know about it, take advantage of it. And then you just have to stay connected to a community, stay connected with people that are moving and grooving, stay connected with people that think beyond that point of failure, that know they're going to make it and just need to keep trying this way and that way. I've had to try things in many different ways to be able to find the success. But everyone does it. The companies, they test, A, B, C testing to see what product or what program or what title or what, everything that comes to market is tested to see how the response is going to be. And one of the big mistakes I think we make as entrepreneurs is we think it's a great idea and we put it out there and then expect for it to always win, as opposed to getting this great idea and putting out the idea to our potential clients and seeing how they respond. I hear many people, before they even launch a new project, they put it out for sale to see if people buy it. If nobody buys it, there's no sense in taking the time and the money and creating it. So there's a lot of different business skills as being an entrepreneur you need to learn that will increase your success. Being able to be part of masterminds. Lots of minorities don't really know the value and the benefit of being part of a mastermind, which is like-minded people. A lot of people, that is I ask them, I interview people all the time, like, what was one of your secrets to success? And that's by far, that keeps circling to be the number one is their either mastermind or their mentorships, having a mentor. Again, we know about our mentorships, but do we have the confidence of asking someone to take the time to mentor us? It makes a big difference. It minimizes the mistakes. It accelerates the learning process and the action process. It's the one person that takes you a long way, especially women. So I think they do have a really good heart in helping each other and creating, that girl community. So I think it's really not necessarily in this day and age. The opportunities are pretty much an even field, even playing field, because, again, the Internet, people really don't know who you are and what you're doing. You just have to have the knowledge, the skills, and the resources to actually do it, and the mindset, which is in any business you're in, you have to be strong enough to say, this is what I'm going to do, and do it.
Well, something I've come to realize about you, Desiree, is when you give a response, there is so much meat in every response you give. I've been doing this radio show for a number of years, and I'll tell you, I will ask people a question, and they'll talk for 5 or 6 minutes and say absolutely nothing. There's nothing to take away. From what you just said in the last few minutes, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things that an entrepreneur could take away and use to make themselves successful. Look, we got to go to commercial break. It is Mike Manahan, Biz Rap Radio. I am speaking with Desiree, radio and TV show host, speaker, author, entrepreneur, expert in social media, and she just given us a whole bunch of ideas on how we can do a better job of being entrepreneurs, tools we can use. We're going to talk about those more right after these messages. And welcome back again to Biz Rap Radio. Your host, Mike Manahan. Thanks for being with me today. If you just tuned in, if you missed the first part of the show, we are talking today with Desiree. She is a radio and TV host, a speaker, an author. She's an expert on social media. She is a female and a minority entrepreneur, and she just has in her brain a million ideas that can help you as an entrepreneur or a small business person to do a better job of running your business, marketing your business, and making money, taking advantage of opportunities that are out there. Desiree, once again, thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Now, okay, so I asked you a question. We were talking about the fear that some entrepreneurs have, and how do you kind of overcome that? And basically, your response was, you need to get out there and be on top of your game. You need to find out you do some research and find out the tools and things that are available. And I was taking notes here, and I wrote down, I think, 7 things that you mentioned. And I'd like to discuss those things in just a little more detail, because I want to make sure everybody listening really understands that what we're talking about. And the first one that you mentioned was the fact that there are preferential opportunities available for minorities, for females, for veterans, and a lot of entrepreneurs forget about this stuff. And it's not just through the government, by the way. Many large corporations mandate that a certain percentage of their products, like Walmart or Target, will mandate that not only a certain percentage of their products are minorities, a certain percentage from women-owned businesses, a certain percentage from veterans, but also sometimes even a certain percentage must be sourced locally. So, while 98% of their products are coming from China, they mandate that 2% or 5% or something has to come from, if they're located, say, in Southern California. So all of those represent opportunities for an entrepreneur. And I did some work with a lady who was a military contractor. She was providing clothing for basically people in the military. Most of hers was athletic and casual clothing, but when you're in the military provides a lot of your clothes, your uniforms and all that sort of stuff. But they even provide things like exercise clothing and all the rest. So now she was Hispanic. She was a female, obviously, and in addition, she had located her little small factory in an area that was designated by I think it was the state of California or the federal government, I'm not sure which, as kind of a depressed area. So she was able to win on 3 different counts. And so when she put in her bids to the Department of whatever the military. I think it was the Army primarily that she was supplying. When she put in her bids, she was moved right to the top, and she had a nice little business. I mean, it wasn't $100 million business, but it was a $5-6 million business and profitable year in and year out, getting these contracts because the military has an obligation. Oh, the other thing is the military, I believe, and somebody. I'm not 100% sure on this, but I believe the military also needs to buy stuff that's actually made in the United States. So you've got made in the United States, a woman entrepreneur, a minority entrepreneur, and your factory is located in an area that the government has said is a depressed area. Well, you've got all of that going for you. Now you don't have to worry so much about the price competition and about beating out the guy down the street who's having everything manufactured somewhere in the hinterlands in China and bringing it over, for people who are making $1 a day. So that's just an example of the opportunities that are out there. But if you don't know the rules, that the purchasers are going off of, if you don't call up Target and say, hey, look, I've got a product, I think I'd like to sell it in Target, what are your rules, your purchasing rules on how you handle minorities and how you handle female businesses and local businesses? If you don't know the rules, you're going to be missing out on an opportunity. So that's the kind of thing, Desiree, that I think you're talking about.
Yes, absolutely, yes. And especially now, even after the election and so forth, where there's even more attention put on women and women in business and how we are a powerful source, or at least a source to that is really to be recognized. And it's just being able to do that little research, but it makes a big difference. A couple of those contracts can really, like you mentioned, might be the baseline of your business. But if you get some private ones on top of that, great. But many of these businesses, that's one way to be able to experience rapid growth. Because like one of those contracts, like you said, it's not going to be a small $5,000 or $10,000. It could literally be in the 6 and 7 figures, and which would definitely change the pace of your business. So being able to find out what, and every industry has those specific areas as well. Again, so whether you mentioned with the government, but even I think almost all industries have some kind of programs that support minorities in business and take advantage of it. Many times we forget to take advantage of it. We don't, but we can.
Well,
even go on. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I was going to say, there's I've met people in my business career who say things like, well, I don't agree with that sort of stuff. So I'm not going to bother with it. I try and tell entrepreneurs and small business people, you didn't make the laws. You didn't write the way that the IRS treats depreciation or the IRS treats capital investment. You didn't write the laws, nor did you write the rules and regulations that big corporations operate under. But you as a small business person have, in my opinion, an obligation to take advantage of everything you possibly can. Donald Trump has said he doesn't necessarily agree with some of the rules and regulations that the government implemented that allowed him to declare a $900 million loss, but he didn't write the rules and regulations, but he took advantage of them. And I think every small business person in America has the same obligation. You need to pay the least amount of taxes that you possibly can by law. And in fact, I think you have an obligation to pay the least amount of taxes. And you want to know what? If somebody says, well, if you're making extra money, why don't you pay more taxes? No, don't do that. Use that money to take care of your employees. Use that money to take care of your community. You only should pay the minimum amount of taxes that you're obligated to pay by law. And similarly, you need to take advantage of every opportunity you can to sell your products and services. And if that means, taking advantage of minority preferences, take advantage of them. If that means taking advantage of special economic zones, take advantage of those special economic zones. Your job is not to figure out whether the rules and regulations are equitable, fair, or right. Your job is to make money off of them. That's what entrepreneurship is all about. So, okay, off topic. Back onto something else that you mentioned, Desiree. You mentioned that you need to surround yourself and associate with like-minded people. And I think that is so important because so many times I've heard entrepreneurs say, well, I'm trying to start this business, but all my friends think I'm crazy. Well, you need to maybe find some new friends. Don't get rid of the old ones, but find some new friends who, when they sit around having a beer on a Friday night, they're not talking about football games. They're talking about, hey, how can we make money off of the changing economy? How do we make money off of changing demographics? How do we do new and interesting things in business? You want to surround yourself with those people. Desiree, how do you find those people? Where do you go to look for people like that?
Fortunately, there's so many different places to go. There's usually an industry organization. Just Google, if you're in fashion design, Google fashion design communities or networking communities or organizations. Almost every industry has something that you can be involved in, as well as the meetups. They have meetups where go to meetup.com and you can find any industry or any location or sport or hobby, or there's so many different ways, demographics, to be able to find groups to associate yourself with there. And then a lot of the women's organizations have a diversification of people in different industries, like our Empowered Women, but there's also Emu Women's Network, and there's also NABO, and there's some local ones. So it just depends on what area you are and what you want to invest in. But make it an investment. Make it a point. One, because many of us are solopreneurs, or a lot of us, more and more of us, are working from home. So you need to get out, and get dressed and get stay socialized. Then secondly, you always can find a valuable takeaway. There's always someone in the room if you connect and, network correctly and follow up, because the fortune is in the follow-up, then you'll find so much gold in those relationships that will, again, either refer you to something else, offer a resource, offer an opportunity. It could be a potential client, referral, sponsor, employee. Many things can come from that.
Okay, great. Desiree, I got to interrupt you right there because we got to go to commercial break. This is Mike Manahan, Biz Rap Radio. We're on a roll here, and we're going to be back right after these messages. And welcome back to Biz Rap Radio. It's your host, Mike Manahan. Thanks for joining us today. And if you've been listening to the show so far, thanks for listening. We are speaking with Desiree. She is a radio and TV host, a speaker, an author, an expert on social media, and just a wealth of information to any entrepreneur or small business person about ideas and thoughts and things you can do to promote your business and start your business and surround yourself with the right people to have a successful business. So, Desiree, once again, thanks so much for being on the show.
Thank you. Great opportunity.
Okay, so once again, tell us, if people are listening to the show, they think, yeah, I want to learn more about this, where can they go to find out more about you and what you have to offer?
Go to anempoweredwoman.com. That's ANEMPOWERED WOMAN.com. Or you can call me, 818-865-8563, or email us at Desiree, DESIREE, at anempoweredwoman.com.
Okay, there you go. You got 3 different ways to get hold of Desiree. It always amazes me the people when opportunity knocks who don't take advantage of it. Here's an opportunity. This is somebody's just given out their phone number on radio and said, call me. What are you, afraid to pick up the phone and call somebody, for God's sakes? I mean, maybe Desiree can help you, maybe she can't, but you don't have time to inquire and find out and make a 2 or 3 minute phone call, and who knows? I mean, we were talking in the last segment, Desiree, you talked about networking and getting out there, getting out of the house, with so many people having home-based businesses these days where you can, run your business walking around walking around the living room in your undershorts, but you need to, at some point in time, you need to put on some clothes and get out there and press the flesh, meet some other people, and build that the people around you who support business, who are business-minded entrepreneurs themselves, and who knows, they may be people who can help you to do what you are trying to do. And so networking is exceedingly important. I actually had a guest at my entrepreneurial finance class last night, And in his particular business, he has to do a lot of outreach. He says he spends 70% of every single day networking. He was telling me either lunch meetings, breakfast meetings, dinner meetings, going to events. He attends about 7 or 8 events every single month. He's constantly on the phone. He's searching through websites like LinkedIn for people that he can connect and communicate with. He told me that over the last 2 or 3 years, he's literally met 2,000 or 3,000 people. He said, I've lost count. It's been so many. So you got to get out there and meet people. Okay, what else we got? We got about, about 6 minutes left here before the end of the show. Desiree, what have we not covered that you want to cover that you think is really important for our listening audience to hear?
I think it was really important when you mentioned that entrepreneurs sometimes struggle with marketing or branding their business. And I think that, one, we all have to agree the fact that it is important. You can't be the only promotion that there is. Otherwise, that will be the extent of your business growth will be you and what you contact with. And now that we have all these tools, that are free and easy, relatively very accessible to everyone, then utilize them. But then take that as some investment and have someone come in. If you can't see, obviously, like from the inside, what the opportunity is from the outside, especially what potential clients will see and want to know and hear. Because we're also familiar with our own information. So we encourage them to take advantage. You mentioned just make a phone call, but take advantage of finding out how other people would promote their business. And it's so economical and it's so easy, whether they decide to do a radio show like you're doing, or whether they decide to do a live event, or we don't have to do everything, but pick one and that you enjoy the most and you think your clients will resonate with the most because they will hear you and your genius, because there's so many different nooks and crannies and there's so many options now. People, when they wanted an attorney, they could work on a referral, but now they can go to the internet and see thousands of them. So how do you stand out? Well, if you have a video there, an audio there, and you're answering their question, they have a chance to hear you, hear your personality, hear your bedside manner, so to speak, and really get to know, like, and trust you. And you could be their choice because they have that familiarity with you. So, it's really easy. And then you're also able to collaborate with other peers, other resources, joint ventures, so you can actually bring potential sponsors and other clients your way by just inviting them, interviewing them in their business, and being able that all of a sudden they become more familiar with you and what you do, and you've broken that ice as far as being able to get it from a cold call to a warm call. And certainly we can do that. It's really easy, even just one client appreciation event a year. We do that for a young lady, and just once a year she has a client appreciation event. She has it totally sponsored. She doesn't cost her a dime. She invites all of her past clients who bring friends and potential new clients. We put it on the radio, we live stream it, so it shares to people that don't make it and say, oh, I wanted to be there, oh, that looks like fun, oh, I forgot about her, now I'm going to refer somebody to her. So really just one different thing they can do, keeping life simple. We know that's not their business and they want to stay in their lane, but just one thing to be able to really reach out and connect with people, it makes it much easier, much more profitable because they're already sold on you. So they've opted into more, and it's a much easier sale. It works. It's more fun. It's more friendly.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Well, you cover so much ground, and it just, I picked off about 5 or 6 ideas right there, but just a couple of them that I love. I love that idea of a customer appreciation event, and an event like that can be not only a customer appreciation, it could be a current customers plus future customers appreciation.
Exactly.
So
you invite everybody. You invite the people that you've talked to that are on the fence that haven't made a decision yet, but that when they come, they hear all your current customers and they sell you for you. They say, oh, she did a great job. I love her. They hear all that. They're in that energy. So absolutely.
Yeah, and I also love the idea of putting something about your expertise, whether it's on a video or an audio track, because it's also important. And as a university professor, this is something that I see firsthand. Americans are losing the the ability to read lengthy material. So it used to be, when you put together something about your company and your expertise, you wrote 5 pages about how great you were and case studies and things you've done and accomplishments you've made. If you have something like that on your website today, absolutely nobody on the planet is going to read it. And I can tell you, none of my students at university are going to read it. If it's any more than 4 bullet points, it's not going to get read. But they will listen and they will watch. So you need to adopt some of these more modern. It's not even more modern. Look at video and audio have been around for over 100 years now. But we need to use them as entrepreneurs to effectively market ourselves and market our businesses, and if we don't, we're missing a big opportunity. Okay, we have literally maybe 1 minute left. Desiree, once again, how can people get a hold of you?
AnempoweredWoman.com. That's AnempoweredWoman.com, or you can email me, Desiree, Desiree, at AnempoweredWoman.com, or call me, 818-865-8563.
Wow, fantastic. Get a hold of Desiree, check out her website, give her a call, see if maybe she can help you with what you're doing. Maybe you can, maybe and have an open mind to new ideas for promoting you and your business, regardless of what it is. If you're not evolving, if you're not changing, if you're not moving forward and trying new and different things, you're going to suffer. Desiree, once again, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you.
Biz Rap Radio, we're fixing the United States of America through a fundamental concept that individuals pursuing their own economic interests in free markets will create more prosperity for more people than can ever be achieved through government regulations and a planned economy. I'm your host, Mike Manahan. This is Biz Rap Radio. We'll be back again next week with another edition of Biz Rap Radio.